Greetings. Today we will be coding for equilateral triangle pattern using Java and Eclipse IDE. I'm hoping you have Java and Eclipse installed in your system. So let's just create a new Java project. Now we have to look for src folder and have to create a new class. Name that class triangle because we are making a triangle pattern. Do not forget to check this box. What it will do is that it will include this line in our code. So these trivial things can be handled by Eclipse IDE. So what we have to print is a triangle pattern. So how does it look like? So here is the pattern, right? But it doesn't look like triangle. So let me make it look like a triangle pattern. So here is our triangle pattern. So this code would consist of three things. The very first thing is, alright, the very first thing is we are going to get a number integer n, and that would be the number of rows. Like for this triangle there are 5 rows, right? So we have to take that count from the user. So I'm assuming that you are familiar with the scanner concept. If not, then there is no need to hurry and just to check this. A scanner code doesn't change anywhere. It's just used for getting the input from the console or keyboard. You can just copy paste this line. There is no different thing. This is Java specific code. And here we are getting an error that scanner cannot be resolved to a type. What we have to do is that we have to import it. And to import, you can do one thing is that you can go here and can import, and here it is, scanner is imported. The other thing you can do is that you can use a combination of Control Shift and O. Both would work. Then what I have to use is I have to use integer n and use a method called nextInt of a scanner class. So now I am having n. N would be defined on runtime. We have to enter it. So in our code, we have to do three things. First thing, we have to make sure that our code executes for the 5 times. That is the number of times, the number of rows, the number of times to the number of rows. So let's just add a for loop. Usually we do these things in this way. We made a for loop and we made sure that it executes 5 times. But let's make some changes. It will execute 5 times with this also. What we have done is, if we entered 5, then here it would be 5, right? So it will go from 1 to 5 times and it will go into loop for the 5 times. And on the 6th time, the I would become 6 and this condition will fail. So it won't going to execute the code inside this block. So we have to look for the other aspect of this code. We made sure that our code will execute for the times of number of rows. Now we have to look at different aspect of this triangle. The first one would be the number of spaces and the other one would be the number of asterisks. Asterisk is nothing, just this star. So let us count the number of spaces that is demanded in this program. So let me just put the numbers in here so that it would be easy to understand for you. So here, if we remove this count, these numbers from a space, our program would be just same and we will get our code. So here there is 2 things. We made sure that our program executes for the 5 times by this number of this code, right? Now we have to make sure the number of spaces. So what we can do is that we can use another for loop. In this code we will use 3 for loops. And the second for loop, we also can do this with while loop, but for loop is easier to understand. If you are in an interview, So try to use for loop, because otherwise if you're not too much familiar with while loop, try to go for loop. It is easy to understand and it comprehensible. So what I have done over here is that I've made sure that the spaces this count would come one the would come the number of rows minus 1, because the first time it is 4 and it's 5 minus 1, and if the number of rows we have entered would be 6, then we want it here to be 5 spaces, right? So this is the code for that. And what I'm going to do here is that, and you must be aware that if we are using a single line of code, then we don't have to put these curly braces, right? So I'll just put the sys out, write sys out, and then press control and space, and then it would be converted into system.out.println. So here make sure that you remove the ln is for the next line. So here I have to put j to make sure that our code would be like this. And if we execute our code here, then we have to enter 5 and we'll get this. And there is a reason behind it, because we haven't put system.out.println. This line is just to mention, just to bring the next line on every row. Now the output would be 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3, 1 2 and 1. Let's just check our concept. Let's just go for console, and it wants a number, and here we go. We have done this much part, the number part. We can change the j with the spaces when we complete the asterisk part. And now we have to look at the asterisk part. So what we have done over here is that we have one times an asterisk when the row number is 1. When the row number is 2, then print 2 time asterisk, right? There is 2 time asterisk. So what we are going to do is that, and there is a space between these asterisks. So we will do a trick. Now we understand the number of times, the number of row is equal to the number of times we have to print the asterisk. So let's add another for loop. And again sys out. Don't forget to remove ln, and here to add print, what we will do is that we will add an asterisk with a space, and that's it. Now if we run our program, and just to make it more comprehensible, add here one line, sys out, enter the number of rows. So when we execute this, we'll get the pop-up, enter the number of rows. We'll enter 5, and boom, here is our code. We have printed this. So what we have to do is we have to remove j with the space. So when we do that, and when we execute the code, to execute the code we can do two things. Like you can go here and execute a triangle, or you can just use combination of control and F11. So I'll enter 5, and here is our output, and we will test it for different outcomes. So we'll again execute this control 11, and we will write 6. So here we go, it works for 6 also, and we will test it for 10 also. So let's try for 20, and here we go, it is printed for 20. So our code is fine, and we are ready to go to next coding question. Thank you, and I'll print this code. I'll make sure to add this code in the description below, and you can go there and copy and paste. And don't forget it. This is one of the interview questions that you may face during the interview if you are a fresher. Thank you.